Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is the Littleton Twilight Criterium. And before we jump into things, I want to thank everyone who's been subscribing. Just about over 500 subscribers, which is pretty cool. So yeah, thanks again. If you want to see more of these, definitely subscribe. So this race is a really fast one, and it got off to a very interesting start because somehow I hit like this bump or something, and then my front derailleur got all like screwed up somehow. You can hear the noise right now, and it's like, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the last race of the season and I'm not going to be able to even finish a lap. And so I'm trying to like pedal through and just kind of keep some speed while looking down and trying to assess what's going on. And then I'm able to freewheel right here, and I don't know, I was shifting the gears and trying a bunch of different things, and then somehow it went away and then never came back. So and even like after that, like, and I brought it somewhere and they're like, yeah, nothing's wrong. So I don't know, maybe something with the Di2 got messed up, but that made for way too interesting of a beginning of the race. But let's look at some race stats real quick. Duration of the race was 35 minutes, distance 16.5 miles, average speed was 27.5 miles per hour, normalized power 275, average power 250, and for those curious, I weigh about 150 pounds, which is about 68, 69 kilos. But yeah, so going into this race, I was feeling good. And this is also the last race of the season, so I was definitely wanting to have a really good result. And this is always a very fast, big field. It's one of the most popular crit race in Colorado each year. So yeah, and there's this kind of long back stretch, which is then when you come through a lot of these turns through here. And really, I was going to try and stay relatively near the front because there's a chance that some brakes could go up the road. And I was feeling really great. I had a lot of really good fitness coming to this race, so I wasn't opposed to getting into a breakaway, or at least trying to, through kind of the first half or so of the race. And then if that wasn't going to go, then I could always sit in for the sprint at the end. So that was kind of the plan going into this race. An interesting part of the course was this first turn after the long start-finish straight. So this is a very tight turn, pinch area. You can see right there some contact being made, and really going through that turn, I always mostly tried to take it on the outside versus the inside, because you just had to scrub so much speed because people were slowing down way too much going on the inside, and I felt like I could carry a lot better speed around on the outside. Of course, that wasn't always possible. Sometimes you had to go on the inside, just depending on where your position was, but that was kind of my plan. And then through a lot of these other turns, it wasn't a huge factor either way, whether going on the inside or outside. Typically, since I, through turn 1 and then turn 2 and 3, I'd be on the outside, and then I'd be able to take this turn 4 on the inside. Another interesting part of the course was this turn where carrying a lot of speed down the back stretch. You can see on like that one and this next one where sometimes you would kind of get right into that curb, so you kind of had to be a little careful through there, because also sometimes too you would just be kind of looking at the guy in front, and if he's gonna overshoot it, then you're gonna overshoot it. So that's kind of one of the important things about kind of, you obviously want to be aware of what's going on, but really riding your own lines as much as possible. All right, we're now coming into about 7 laps to go. Up until this point in the race, it's been a very fast race. My heart rate's kind of been pegged the whole time, but I'm still feeling good, still feeling, like I'm gonna be able to be ready for the sprint, and even ready if something goes off the front. And kind of sure enough, this is where my friend Keaton kind of rolled off the front. You can kind of see him going through this next turn already. And then my other friend Jacob here coming up on the right side, he kind of sees that and he's like, well, this is an opportunity for me as well. So he's going to kind of try and go and catch up to Keaton up there. And three of us kind of had talked before the race about maybe getting a breakaway. We're all three independent riders, unattached, and so if if it was something that would work for all three of us to get up the road, we would definitely work together. And so yeah, but I'm kind of just sitting in right now. I'm gonna kind of let the two of them go and see if people are gonna follow. Versus trying to bridge up right away. So, and again, my heart rate is still pretty high, so I'm just kind of, not trying to spend a lot of energy, but I'm gonna stay near the front here. I'm about third wheel, and this team, Go for Graham, that these two guys right in front of me, they're really not looking to bring this back right now, so I'm just gonna kind of comfortably sit in. They probably have about like a 10-second gap right now, but then you see this guy fly up on the left side, so I'm thinking, all right, maybe he's going to try and bridge or, close the gap. So kind of try and be mindful of that, but I'm still sitting pretty good, but you can see my heart rate's continuing to climb. It's at 191, which, yeah, I mean, it maxed out at 200 for this race, which is higher than it normally will max out for a race. Typically I'm more in that like 196 to 198 range, but I was a little bit fresh coming into the race. That might have been a reason. But yeah, I mean, right now there's still that guy had a moment there. There's about 10-second, probably more like a 5-second gap up the road. But things start slowing down here, and I'm like, maybe this is a good time for me to join up the road and see what can happen. So I put in a big effort right here. You can see there's one guy that's going to try and follow me. But immediately we're able to pull out a gap. And so I'm really putting in a lot of power here because I'm trying to close the gap as soon as possible without bringing anyone with me. And you can kind of see even the guy that's following me isn't really able to get into my draft until kind of at the end of this straightaway. But unfortunately, it seemed like I kind of ignited the field to chase, even though they weren't able to, draft, and I didn't bring them up with me. And kind of, we still have a little bit of a gap, so I'm kind of encouraging them to work. But I think Primal Audi, who is one of the bigger teams, this is kind of also their main race. They didn't want me and some of the other guys getting up the road and forming too big of a group up there. So unfortunately, we were caught here, and very controversial because they thought I brought the whole field with me and chased them back, but it really didn't happen like that. But let me know what y'all think. Should I have made that move or not? Leave a comment below. Let me know. But now after that, this is part where the race is going to kind of slow down a little bit. And, now we're just about 7 or 8 minutes left in the race here. But you can kind of see the guy in the black who's kind of riding on the front right now. He was the guy that bridged up with me, but he apparently had a lot more energy because he's going to just kind of roll off the front and people are just going to let him go. And unfortunately, this move ended up staying away. He just slowly built a gap, and this is the time of the race that these moves are really dangerous, and definitely pay attention to these if you're racing, where after a big attack and effort to bring back the attack, and field's tired and everything, and then you just get one person that kind of just rolls off the front, and yeah, sometimes they stay away. Let's skip to the end of the race and see how the last 2 laps played out. All right, we're coming into 2 laps to go now, and right now I'm very far back. I'm probably, 30th, 40th wheel, something like that, and this was a little bit of a mistake on my part, I think. I don't think it ended up costing me anything, but you can kind of see I'm going to move up here on the right side. But typically, after, if I do get into a break or anything like that, and if I do get caught, I'll kind of move to the back and kind of conserve energy. But since that happened so late in the race already, I ended up kind of moving back and then immediately had to move forward again, which kind of, there was no point in doing that. So I really should have stayed, further up kind of where I am now. But, there were some great places to move up to where it wasn't, too big of an effort. But my strategy for the ending of this race was I needed to be, 3rd or 4th wheel at this part of the last lap, or even more forward, because coming through this turn and before the last turn, you really need to be 1st or 2nd wheel. It was going to be really hard to be able to win coming out of the last turn at 5th wheel. And so yeah, we're coming onto the start finish straight now, coming into 1 lap to go, and I'm still further back than I really want to be, but this right line opens up, and so I'm like, all right, I'll take this these free positions here, and so able to pass a few people. And coming through this turn, take it nice and fast, carry a lot of speed. So now I'm feeling pretty good. I think I'm about 6th wheel, 7th wheel, something like that, which is pretty good for at this point in the final lap. I just really don't want anyone else to try and come around me. So I'm gonna try and be pretty, aggressive there. So we take that turn pretty good, and then coming around this turn, I get forced out a little bit, but I'm like, all right, this is a great time to make up some positions. So I'm able to get around. Now I'm 5th wheel here, and this is my big mistake. I don't carry that speed and take that right line to go around these guys, and I hesitate, and I get past, and then this guy makes a good move going up the middle of that group. And now he's first going to that, and I get pinched here. And so I'm just like, I'm not in a good position. But, I'm still going to give it all I got in the sprint, and coming through the last turn, put on the power over 1100 watts. And I had a really good sprint here. A lot of really good sustained power, ended up passing up a lot of people. And then rolled in for 5th on the day, 4th in the field sprint. If we look back at how the finish played out, this was really my big mistake right here. Like I said, I mean, I had a lot of good momentum, could have easily moved up, but I hesitated, and that kind of cost me the field sprint, I think, because I think I could have either won the field sprint or at least got 2nd, because you can kind of see through here, I take this last turn really well, and I'm able to pass 2 people after being pretty far back. So kind of disappointing, but it was a pretty decent end to the year. Love the guy that posted up for 2nd place, because I don't think he knew that someone was up the road. So but yeah, that's just how it works out. But yeah, so that is my last race from last season, but don't worry, I am starting to race again here next week. I'll be down in Tucson racing the stage race down there. But also next week I'll be releasing a video from my time cycling in Glacier National Park, which that was a really awesome experience. So definitely stick around to check that out and subscribe if you want to see more of these. And thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.